Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explain the unit 4. In my previous video, I explained unit 1, 3 and the 2. Now it's time for unit 4. Unit 4 contains the two parts. One is processes and context. Now let's start from part 1, which is processes. What is processes? Let's see. Basically, representation of processes which include times, events and the situation. So to represent the process, these three things will be involving. You have to learn about these three things to represent the process. And knowledge representation framework, enabling reasoning and decision making in the dynamic environments. To learn about the process, we have to understand basically what is times, event and the situation. So let's learn one by one. Yes, first is times. What is the time? Time plays a fundamental role in knowledge representation. So which is time? So what is time in the general meaning? Time and TNT, it's like a normal duration. It's like a duration to do a particular task. What is the duration? So it will plays a fundamental role in the knowledge representation to represent the knowledge, to represent the data. So time plays a crucial role. Okay, and providing a framework for understanding the temporal aspects of events and actions. What is event and the action? It's like a work, it's like a task which we have to perform according to some duration. Okay, it will be providing some events and the actions which we have to perform. We have to understand that framework. Representing times involves capturing specific points or interval in time to perform a task or to perform an event. When the event occur in the some time intervals or condition hold true to perform, or when the event occurs to perform a particular task, or when the event occurs, what is the duration of that event occur. So to check or to calculate the time interval of the time when the event occur, will be using the time. Basically its general meaning is that only, no, when the event occur or when we have to do something work in the particular duration of time, so the time will be helping very crucially. Okay, so this is nothing but the time. So what is the how to represent the knowledge in some duration of time, some time intervals. Okay, I think you know something about the time, so when we have to use and what is that. Now let's see. So in the time, it is some divided into three types, three approaches basically, which is temporal logic, temporal database and temporal ontology. So this is the second unit. I think I explained you very clearly. If anyone are coming here without watching the second unit video, first watch that second unit, so and come to this unit and this video, so that you can understand about ontology, because this ontology will be using in this fourth unit many times. So first watch that video and come to this video. Next, let's see. Temporal logic. What is the temporal logic means? Provides a formal language. So it will be like a formal language. First, what is the logic basically? So logic is like nothing but some rules and regulations which we have to perform to do particular thing or particular task. Yeah. So it is like a formal language for expressing the temporal properties and the reasoning about the temporal relationship between the events to perform a particular event. So what are the properties and what are the reasoning? What are the solutions for the complex problems? Okay, and what is the relation between them? So to perform this thing, we'll be providing a formal language to express this thing, to express its properties and the reasoning and the relation among the events. We'll be using the formal language. So it will be somewhat having some rules and regulations which we have to form, which we have to follow in that same format only. So this is nothing but the temporal logic. It's like a formal language which we have to express their properties and the reasoning. Okay, and the relationship. And here we have a model operator. So what is the model operator? So model operator is nothing but like next, until, eventually, So these are some modal operators, like what is the next and until this thing and eventually. So this comes under the modal operator. Enable the representation of temporal relationship. To represent these temporal relationships, we'll be using this modal operators, which are nothing but the next, until, eventually. Okay, what is the mainly temporal logic is? Temporal logic means which will be providing the formal language. Okay, next will comes to temporal database. So before going to the temporal database, first, what is a database? Database is nothing but to store some amount of data. To store some amount of data, when we want to retrieve, it can easily, we can retrieve. So that is a database where we will be working like a store, where we can store the data. What is a temporal database? Temporal database extend traditional databases to support traditional data. So we'll be having, it will be supporting the traditional data, allowing for the storage and retrieving of information, which I said will be retrieving the information when we want. It allows to retrieve the information based upon the temporal constraints, based upon some conditions, based upon some temporal conditions, will be retrieving the information or data. And one more thing you have to remember is it will be allowing for the storage. Okay, this thing. Next, what is a temporal ontology? Temporal ontology represents a temporal concepts and the relationship within a domain. So particular task or a particular domain is there. To represent that thing, will be using some temporal concepts and the relationship within a domain. Okay, I think you know this thing, ontology. So which will be representing the concepts in the relationship within the domain or a task. Okay, and enabling the reasoning about the time dependent knowledge. I think you got a clarity among these three. Temporal logic means it will be providing the formal languages to express the properties, reasoning, and the relationship among the events. What is the database? Which stores the data. When we want, we can retrieve the data according to some specified constraints, according to some specified conditions and constraints. What is the ontology? Ontology is nothing but which represents the concepts and the relationship within the domain. Okay, these are the thing. Next, what is the example? So by this you can understand more clearly about the time. So in the scheduling application, what is the scheduling applications? In the scheduling applications, we'll be using the time. So times are represented using the time stamps like intervals. So look at here this example where July 1st, 2024, or it's like a time, see, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's like a time interval. So it is represented in the time in the form of intervals. Okay, this is the example, which is a scheduling, will be scheduling the time, will be scheduling some application. So this is nothing but the times. Now next one is events. What is the events? It represents occurrence or happening that takes place at the specific times or intervals. Means what is the event? Event is nothing but some action or some work which we have to do, or it's like a occurrence or happening. It's like occurrence which will be occurring, which we have to do task, and happening, and that takes place at a specific time. So at specific time intervals which the work will be doing, that is known as event. Event is nothing but the work which we have to do according to some specified time intervals. So that only they said to represent some occurrence at some specified time intervals. Okay, next in this also we have a modeling events. Like here we have some model operators. Similarly we have here modeling events which involves capturing their attributes. What are the attributes? It's like a properties and participants and temporal characteristics. So what are the properties and the characteristics of their event? What are the properties and the characteristics? Okay, now let's see what are the various techniques which we use in this events. So event is divided into like event representation, event calculus, event ontology. What is the event representation? So event representation will be in the form of a structured object. So it will be in the form of a structured format, structured objects. So what it will be containing in the structured format? It will be having some attributes which are nothing but the properties, such as what are the attributes, what we can say that attributes, it may be like a event type and time of occurrence, location, participants and outcomes. So I will be showing some examples so that you can understand this thing. So suppose we have a calendar application. So this is the calendar application. So this calendar applications will be in the form of a structured object. So there will be in some structured form like a tabular form. So which is some structured way. So it is organized in some structured way. Yes. Then containing the attributes. What are the attributes which it will be there in this calendar applications? Will be having the event name, like what is the month, what is the some information, event information will be there. Then what is the start time, what is the end time, and the location. So these are the things which we can see in the calendar in the structured format. So that is known as the representation, how to represent this event. Okay now? Yes. Next, event calculus. What is the event calculus? Is the It's like a representing and reasoning about the events, how to represent the events and how to solve the problems and their effects. So how to solve the complex problems. Okay, so this event calculus will be using in the first order logic, which I will be explaining you, don't worry, in the further coming videos. But as of now, in the event calculus we'll be using the first order logic. Yes, so which will be representing the states and the events. Okay, I think you understood. Next, event ontology, same. So which will be define the concepts and the relationship which is related to the event, or it will be defining the concepts in the relationship. Okay, next, then it is about the event driven knowledge. So in this we'll be having the event driven knowledge. This is about the event representation, where we'll be representing the knowledge or the domain in the structured format, where we'll be having some properties like location, participants, outcomes in this way. What is the calculus? Calculus is nothing but will be representing the event or will be reasoning what are the effects are there, what are the complex problems, how to solve that complex problems. And here we'll be using this first order logic, and it will be representing the states and the event. Okay, ontology, next, what is the situation? So what is situation generally? So situation represents the states. What is the state? What is the being? States. So state of the world at specific point or interval in the time. So what is the some state, what is the present state is there? Okay, including the condition, what is the condition, events, entities present in the given context. So in the particular context, what are the conditions which we have to use, what are the events are there? So that are the situations. So according to the situation we have to perform the task. So that is the so situation provides the context for reasoning about actions, plan, decision making. So it will be performing some actions what we have to do, and it will be planned like setting the goals and decision making, what decision we have to make. So in this also we have some various techniques. What are they? The situation calculus and situation awareness and the ontology. So calculus already you have learned here in this event. So what is here also will be using the first order logic, and here and same the representing and reasoning about the domain, here also same, and here also will be using the first order logic similarly. Okay, similar points you can write, but we'll be working here in this situation, they will be working like an event. Okay, what is awareness? So situation awareness refers to the perspection. What is the perspection of, what is their perspection? Okay, and understanding of the current state. What is the awareness? By seeing the current situation will be modifying, yes or no? So understanding of the current state of the world. So in this, what are the things which will involve, which is the event, threats, opportunities and the constraints. So events means the work, threats means what is the problem. So with that problem, with that awareness, we from next will not do the same mistake. And opportunities for our performance, for our strengths, what are the opportunities will be getting. So this is the awareness. So ontology is similar, so which captures the knowledge about the situation, events and the context within the domain. So what are the situation, events and the context in a particular domain. And here we can use the decision making also, it enables the decision making. So this is about the situation. So basically situation is nothing but which represents the state at a time interval, at a particular time interval, which states, which represents the states. Yes. Next, how many Techniques we'll be using here: situation calculus, situation awareness, and situation ontology. Situation calculus means which will be representing and reasoning about the actions or situations, something like this, okay, which will be representing on this thing. Yes, here similarly we'll be using the first order logic, which is nothing but which will be representing the actions and the situations. Where it comes to awareness, we have perception and understanding about the current state. What is the perception, what is their point of view, and how to understand the current state. Okay, in this what are the things which is included? It is event, context, threats, and the opportunities, we can say. So next, situation ontology, so it's like a knowledge about some event or the situation and the context within the domain for the particular task. What is the knowledge in the event, situation, and the context, and even it will be enabling the reasoning. Now let's see what is the example for this. So the example is nothing but in the smart home systems, like in the smart home systems, like we can say temperature, lightning. So these are some conditions where according to the situation will be working. So this comes under the example for the situation. Now what is the integration and the application? So what is this thing is, now temporal reasoning, event modeling, situation awareness, so what is the event modeling? This also I said, which is nothing but which will be representing analyzing the complex process. Okay, next, temporal reasoning. What is the temporal reasoning? Which will be having some relations and the sequence of events and some scheduling of activities. So that I said, no, scheduling the this thing, where it is, yeah, scheduling application. So where will be scheduling the time according to the intervals. So that is nothing but the temporal reasoning. Will be dividing the complex problems into some small pieces. Event modeling means like here also will be analyzing the complex process. So what is the complex process? For that we'll be analyzing and we'll be working on that. Awareness means it's like a perspection. What is a perspection? Okay, I think you understood about the processes. These are the things which we are, this time, event, and the situation which is involved in the process. So they ask about processes. First you have to write something about this time, event, and the situation, then you can continue your answer. So if they ask, you have to write this thing. I think it's clear for you. It's completely the theory you have to remember. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in next video.